Hello, and welcome to Quilt Canada Day 3, and this is our noon presentation. My name is Jared Cahoon, and I'm the Canadian rep for the Grace Company here in Canada, and I'm so excited to share with you this workshop by Karla Gerome of the Grace Company USA. She has talked to me about it at a bunch of different quilt shows, and she's like, oh, this is how it works. But I am excited to see exactly how it works in action. It's got a funny name, but I promise it's totally appropriate. She likes puns as much as the next person, and it is a really fun technique from what I've heard. And I'm excited to be able to share this with you lovely people. If you guys encounter any questions, of course, feel free to comment. Comment on the video on Facebook or on YouTube, as well as if you would like, you can also chat in the Grace Company, Grace Company booth. You can start a private chat or a public exhibitor chat. That would work as well. If you can't get in touch with anyone that way, you could always call. Even if you're viewing this after the fact, you can always call our toll-free number, and we are happy to chat with you and help answer any of your questions. I hope all of you know who Karla is. She's done a lot of presentations. I know I introduced her on the first presentation, but let me introduce you to her again. Let me see. There we go. Here's a little snippet that I found online of her about her history. Karla Gerome of the Grace Company Canada took her first quilting class in 1986 at the store she was working at, Mormon Handicraft, and instantly fell in love with quilting. Excuse me. She enjoyed learning about fabric and how to make templates. Karla worked with her mother, Grace, of the Grace Company at Mormon Handicraft, who always encouraged Karla to develop her skills as a quilter. Karla taught her first hand quilting class named Teeny Tiny Stitches in 1992. Each quilt Karla makes tells the story of the Grace Company through the use of new techniques and technologies. Karla loves to challenge herself and will pick a pattern or design that is out of her comfort zone to improve her quilting. So this is, again, another time that Karla has been innovative and tried a new technique and a new technology. And I won't keep talking to you anymore. Instead, I'll pass it on to Karla. So here she is.
Hi, Karla here for the Grace Company. Today I'm going to show you how to create what I call a strip quilt. We did this with a new employee. He was just learning how to use the machine and the frame together, and he did his own version of the sunset strip, and he did an awesome job. He did this in about 45 minutes. I did this little baby blanket, and you can see I didn't really necessarily need to quilt in the area, but it made it a lot softer, a lot more comfortable for the baby. Now, this one here took a little longer. And just to embellish it and make it a little more interesting, I took the circles using our 360 circle cutter. You can get it at graceframe.com. So let's jump in and let's get started. First thing we're gonna do is we're going to pin our backing to our leaders. And I found my center, I just creased it really good. And now I'm just going to pin it to what we call our take-up rail. Our take-up rail is the pole that goes through the sewing machine. It's also the pole that takes up all the layers of your quilt. You're going to pin from the center out. Now I'm going to find my center of the end of my quilt and do the same thing. Start pinning from the center out. So now I'm going to roll up the backing on the quilt. Now we're going to float the batting, and floating is just letting it hang, and I'm just going to line it up across. and it's hanging nice and straight. I have no wrinkles in it whatsoever. I have my strips organized from my darkest to my lightest, which is my yellow. If you don't have channel locks, you'll measure in just a little bit. From this pole, measure a ½ inch all the way along your pole. You'll just lay your ruler across it and draw a line. That's all you have to do. But the channel locks will lock your sewing machine in place so that you can move side to side and make straight lines. So I'm just going to line my machine up right here. I'm going to go all the way to the edge as far as I can so that the back of my foot is hitting the pole. And then I'm going to lock my channel lock. Now I'm bringing my bottom thread up, and you're going to just make a straight stitch all the way across. Okay, now you want to cut your thread, pull it forward, bring your thread up, and you'll cut it with your scissors. Okay, so now that I have my nice straight line, I'm ready to put my first color, my first strip on the horizon. And so I am going to take it and see, I have a little fold here, so that tells me that's my center on that. So if you want to find your center, find it and make it nice and exact, but I'm just going to eyeball it because I'm not really worried about it. Okay, so now that I've laid that out along my sewn line and the edges look nice and straight, I'm going to take my second color and lay it right on top. With this one, you get to sew 2 colors at once. Okay. But I don't want my fabric to shift or move as I'm moving down it. So what I'm going to do is take pins, and I'm just going to pin across it. All right, using my foot, I'm going to line the edge of my foot up with the edge of my strip, and I'm going to push my channel lock down. Now I'm locked into place. I'm going to pull my bottom thread up, okay, and I'm going to move it back into place, and then I'm going to sew along it. And as you're sewing, if you get a little, feel like you're going to get a wrinkle, just kind of pull it down as you go. And as you sew across it, there you go. You've sewn your first 2 strips. Now I'm going to undo it and show you what it looks like. Okay. So I'm going to pull it down. I'm just going to finger press it across, nice and smooth. Now I'm ready for my next blue one, okay? And I just line up my folded line and my folded line, and then lay it across, and then just start pinning. And you're going to do the same process all the way down your quilt. So here comes the sun. I had to say it. I had to get it over with. Okay. So what I did is I cut out 2 circles and I put them right sides together, and you'll sew all the way around. And I'm going to cut a little slit in between them. Now you don't want to cut through both layers. It's just one layer you're going to cut. And this is going to allow you to get in and turn it. So my right sides are out now. I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to put my fingers up in there and just kind of move it all the way around the circumference of the circle and push it so that the seams are out. And where I cut, that's going to be the bottom of your sun, okay? So now I've got the bottom of my sun, And I'm going to decide how much of the sun I want to see. Do I want it setting a little more? Do I want it up a little higher so it's just started? Let's just put it right there. So now I'm going to pin this in place so it just doesn't move on me. Just a couple of pins, it'll hold it. Now I'm going to take my purple. This is my horizon line. And I'm going to lay it across my pink and my sun and pin that down. So let's get started. There we go. And I'm going to cut my sun at the bottom of it because I don't want the bulk of it to be hanging down and make it look uneven. So there. Okay. I'm going to take my pins out. And now I have my sewn sun. And I'm going to finish up. I only have 4 more strips left. So I'm going to hurry quickly and finish those up. And then I'm going to show you how I'd quilt it. We're down to our last strip. And so exciting, I'm pinning it on. The last stroke, always a good moment. You have to slow yourself down, take a deep breath, because the last row, the last strip is always when you run out of bobbin or the more mistakes you make. So just take it nice and steady. And there, I have my sunset strip quilt. Now, I get to quilt it. So now we're ready to start quilting our sun. And we have to quilt it because it's not tacked down. I'm going to start with heat waves. Use your foot to kind of help you with it. Let's do a little circle in there, add some dimension. You can do whatever you want. As you come to the edge, make sure you go right around it. Continue to do your little wavy lines with your little, there's a place to put a little spiral in there. And just keep going. Like when you come to the edge, just get as close to the edge as possible. Okay. You can write your name, you can write a beautiful poem if you want to. It does not matter. This is your quilt. Do whatever you want and make your sunset the best part of your day. Thanks for quilting with me.
Wow, what a amazing and simple way of doing a strip quilt. Normally, of course, we would assemble the quilt top strip by strip and sew all the pieces together and have a complete quilt top, and then move it over to the long arm and put the 3 layers of your quilt sandwich, the backing, the batting, and the quilt top. We'd put them together using the quilting on the long arm machine and the quilting frame. But instead, she skipped that whole step. Instead, she skipped the whole making the quilt top in advance, and she assembled it right there on the frame. What a really fun idea. I'm just looking to see if there's any questions. If you, of course, you have any questions, you can always comment down below, or you can call our toll-free number, and someone will answer the phone there and help you with any questions you might have. It is a really fun technique. I'm really excited to be able to try that one out. For me, okay, I'm guilty confession here. For me, I don't like piecing quilts. I like long arming. I like quilting them. That to me is the exciting part of the industry. So you guys do the quilting. Oh, sorry. You guys do the piecing and I will do your quilting. Just kidding. But that's the part that I'm excited for. I gotta get someone to sew up all my quilts, but this saves me the step. I might just have to make a strip quilt sometime soon. That's it for this presentation. Our next presentation, of course, is in just 3 hours and 45 minutes at 4 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. I had a thing that was open here that would tell me what the next presentation was. Oh no. Can I find it really quick? I believe it's our FAQ, frequently asked questions with the Grace team. Let me double check that. I don't want you guys to have any bad information. Any questions? Still looking for questions. No questions. So, and it is our frequently asked questions with the Grace team. If you guys have a long arm or a unique quilting machine, and you guys have experienced any kind of tension problems, why not come back at 4 o'clock and learn what to look out for and what things to check. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys at 4 o'clock. If you have any questions, of course, give me a call or send me some kind of a chat or private message, and I'd be happy to talk to you. Anyway, bye now.